Hi, this is Janice from Space to Relax, and the video you're about to watch is a replay of a live class I taught on Zoom. These classes are free of charge for everyone to join, so please invite your family and friends. They're suitable for beginners and those of you with more Qigong experience. If you're watching this video on YouTube, then please don't forget to hit the red subscribe button so that you don't miss any future videos from me. I hope you enjoy the class. So hi everyone, and you're very welcome to today's class. In the class today, what we're going to do is a couple of simple little stretches in order to help to improve hip flexibility and groin flexibility. So we're really working with the inner thigh muscles today. But because this is a Qigong class and not just simply a stretching class, we're going to combine that movement with the other two elements of Qigong, which are your breath and your mind. So very, very important not to forget those two. And the reason we want to have loose and flexible inner thigh or groin areas, groin muscles, is because if you're nice and loose in this area, in the inner leg area, what that does is it can help to stabilize your pelvis and affect the whole alignment of your spine, and thus increase the flexibility of your lower back and give the whole area a little bit more support and strength. So that's the reason for doing this particular exercise. And I thought it would be a really nice one to do because it's often an area where we're quite tight. We can hold a lot of tension in this area, not just physically, but also emotionally. So I'm sure many of you are aware that a lot of us we accumulate tension in the shoulders here, especially if you're doing a lot of desk work, office work, or driving. And I showed you in a previous video how to help to relieve tension from that driving or sitting position. So we've covered the shoulders already, but often what we also end up with is accumulating a lot of tension in the hip and the groin area. And also this is where a lot of our pent-up emotions can be stored as well. So this practice can help to allow for the gentle release of any stored up emotions, any stored up trauma that may be being held in the body. And this is quite a well-known fact from a neuroscience point of view, but also from a Chinese medicine point of view, that when our body gives us some kind of a sign of tightness, stiffness, or pain, that can be a sign that the emotional flow of qi or energy is also not open and free flowing in the same way as the physical flow isn't. So what I'd like you to do, if you can, have a couple of rolled up blankets. So you see I've got them either side of me here, and also a cushion to sit on, or if you have any yoga props, you can use a bolster or a block. So I have a block here. So this is one option. You can use one of these to sit on, or you can use the bolster, which I'll show you here, which I'm using. So I have one of these. Okay, so or you can use a cushion, whatever is easiest for you. So I'm going to sit on the bolster, and as I'm sitting down, just first of all, I'll show you from the front and then from the side. So when you're sitting, you want to sit with the back straight. Now, at the moment, we're not in the position yet. So you can sit with your legs crossed. You can sit with your legs just out in front of you like this. However, it's just comfortable for you to get your sit bones onto the bolster or the cushion in a comfortable way. So I'm going to show you from the side now and move everything around in order to get into this good position. Okay. So in this position now, you can see, hopefully you can see my bolster. And what I'm going to do is make sure that I'm sitting up straight and that my sit bones are actually in very good contact with the bolster itself. And the really good way to do this, and you can do this as well for whenever you're sitting on a chair, is actually just to lean forward a little and then just move with your hands, move the flesh of the buttocks away out towards the back. So you're pulling the buttocks to the back. And then as you sit up straight, you feel that lovely contact and grounding down of the sit bones into the bolster or into a chair. And you're going to try and make sure that your back is straight. So if you don't think you can support your back in a straight position like this, and you find that this might create tension, or you might end up hunched over, then sit back against a wall. Or if you're sitting on a bed, sit back against the headboard of the bed. So make sure that your back is supported. So I'll turn around to the front now. Okay, so from this position, what we're going to do, just sit however you want with your legs. So you can have your legs crossed, you can have your legs in this position, you can have your legs straight out in front of you, however is good for you. So just find a nice position for your legs, and we'll just come into a little bit of breathing for now. So resting with the hands just on your knees or on the tops of your thighs, either palms down or palms up. So sitting up straight and feeling that contact of the sit bones, so almost kind of nestle the sit bones in to the bolster or the cushion. Check that you're sitting up straight and relax the shoulders down, moving the shoulder blades down the back of the body and the tops of the arm bones here down away from the earlobes. And then to get lovely length in the back of the neck, tuck the chin back towards the throat. Close your eyes. Close your mouth and allow the tongue to rest against the roof of the mouth with the tip of the tongue against the back of the upper teeth. Bring a smile to the corners of your mouth and softening in the forehead. Not frowning, creating space between the eyebrows, relaxing that whole area. And just for a few breaths now, breathing in and out. Using the nose, the mouth is closed. And as you breathe in, feel the belly expand as though you're blowing up an imaginary balloon inside the lower abdomen. And as you breathe out, feel the belly shrinking. So settling into your practice now with abdominal breathing. Relaxing the shoulders, releasing any tension that you might feel in the physical body. If you notice any thoughts popping into your head, any mind chatter, just watching the thoughts coming and going. And as you observe them, just letting them go and bringing your mind back to the breath. The inflation and deflation of the lower abdomen. And now slowly opening the eyes so you can see me. The first stretch I'm going to show you is actually a yoga position, a yoga asana. So those of you who are yoga teachers and yoga practitioners will have done this many times before. It's called, in Sanskrit, Baddha Konasana, or the butterfly pose. Now for this, all you need to do is, if you're sitting cross-legged or if you're sitting with your legs out in front, what you need to do is to pull the legs in together. So you're going to allow the soles of the feet to come together. So this is the wings. We have the wings of the butterfly here. So the soles of the feet are coming together and sitting up straight, nestling the sit bones into the bolster. And what some of you might find in this position is that this is really, you might find that your knees are very, very high up if you don't have that lovely flexibility in the inner thigh area. So what you can do, if you find this actually quite uncomfortable, you can bring in the use of your blankets. So if you take a blanket either side, what you can do is actually just wedge them in underneath the lower legs here. So then you have a little bit of support and you're not feeling as though the whole weight of your knees is pulling and stretching on the groin area. So you have the option of whether to use those or not. If you find you need 2 blankets either side, you could actually go in, if you have enough blankets, you could go in and prop yourself up even more. depending on what you need. So make sure that you're comfortable in this position. The one thing that you want to avoid is pressing down on the knees. That's really bad. You're going to create a really unhealthy groin stretch here and probably pull something. So for any of these stretches, what you don't do is go beyond your own range of movement. What you're looking for is a very gentle stretch in the groin area, going down the insides of the thighs. That is it. Because remember, we're making this a Qigong stretch. So with Qigong, we also have, as well as the physical stretch, we have the mind and the breath at our disposal as well. So we're going to combine the three elements together. So you have the option of the blankets. You can take them away if you want, but it's entirely up to you. Just be comfortable. The soles of the feet are together. And what you might also want to do is experiment with pulling the feet closer towards your body or moving them further away from you and seeing if that makes any difference, if you find there's a little bit of discomfort in the stretch. But when you move them away from you, please don't be tempted to lean forwards or to hunch and round in the back. So you want to still maintain this lovely straight back. So I've got my legs here, I've got my feet together, I've got my butterfly wings going on here. So you can hold the feet if you want to, or you can hold on to the ankles, but just keeping the arms nice and relaxed. So in this position now, checking that you're nice and straight, closing the eyes, shoulders moving away from the ears, close the mouth. So bringing our breath into this now. So breathing in to the lower belly and breathing out. So we're going to do this 5 breaths, abdominal breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. Keep lengthening in the spine, tucking the chin back towards the throat and thinking of being pulled up by an imaginary thread through the top of your head, staying nice and tall. Breathing in and out of the belly. Two more breaths. And gently opening the eyes. And then to come out of this, what you can do is to make it easy for your groins so that you're not pulling anything in the inner thighs. Use your hands, palms on the outsides of the knees, and push the knees together to give them a little bit of support. And then just maybe move the legs out, give them a little stretch, a little move around. So when you're first starting a stretch like this, if it's something that you're not used to, then don't do it for too long. You don't want to create lots of stiffness in the area when you come out of the stretch. So just do 5 breaths, maybe 10 breaths, come out, stretch out the legs a little bit, move them around, and then gently pull them back in together again. So we'll go for this one more time. And this time we're going to use the mind as well as the breath. So getting nice and comfortable. Closing the eyes, sitting up tall, breathing in and out through the nose. And with your mind now, bring your attention very gently to the inner thighs, to the groin area. Now, this area in Chinese medicine and Qigong is very important because 3 major channels of Qi flow run through this area, through the hip, through the groin area. The liver, the spleen, and the kidney channel. So by bringing your mind to this area, creating the conditions for open and free-flowing Qi through the groin and the inner thigh and the hip area, then we also create lovely conditions for free-flowing Qi through these channels. And the whole idea in Qigong is if the Qi is open and free flowing, then all the different systems of the body and the mind can communicate freely and function in a balanced way. So with your mind in the inner thigh, in the groin area, taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, in your mind's eye, think of relaxing and expanding in that area, wherever you feel any bit of a stretch, releasing into the stretch. So breathing in, and with each exhale, relax and expand in the inner thigh area. Keep your mind in this area. So here we now have a combination of your movement or your position, your breath, and your mind. Relaxing and expanding, releasing a little more with each breath. And what you might find the more that you practice this is that your knees will eventually get closer and closer to the floor. But remember, no forcing, no physical forcing. It's more of an allowing, more of a letting go, allowing the knees to drop down towards the floor as the inner thighs relax and stretch, just using gravity. And you might, if you're using the blankets, you might not notice that too much. That's fine. If you're not using the blankets, you may notice that a little bit more. And now bring your mind back to your lower belly. Breathing in, feel the belly expand. Breathing out, feeling the belly shrink. Gently opening the eyes. To come out of this again, remember, bringing the hands to the outsides of the knees, then pushing one knee up and the other, so that there's no strain. And you might want to hug the knees in. You might feel like you want to stretch the legs out, maybe lean back a little bit, move the legs from side to side, give them a little shake. Whatever is good for you, but just nice and gentle to come out of this position. Okay, so that is the butterfly pose or Baddha Konasana from a Qigong point of view. So what we're doing there is physically releasing the inner thighs, stabilizing the pelvis, helping with spinal alignment and strength of the lower back. Emotionally, we are releasing any trapped or blocked emotions which we can hold in the physical body in our hips. So hopefully you found that useful. I would say just practice it for, as I said, 5 to 10 breaths each time, have a little break and then come back into it again and do another 5 to 10 breaths and maybe repeat that 5 to 10 times, depending on how much time you have for your practice. Now I'm going to move these away because we don't need the blankets anymore. It's just getting rid of those. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next stretch now. So this stretch is for, again, working with the inner thighs. And what we're going to do this time is sitting on our bolster, checking that our sit bones are really nicely snuggled in, back is straight. From here, we're going to draw the legs up and then move and slide one leg out to the side and the other one out to the side, only as far as you can go without pulling anything in the inner thigh area. So from this position, you've got a lovely straight back. And what you want to be sure of is that you're not pointing your toes. You want the toes to be facing up towards the ceiling. And when you do that, you feel a little bit of a stretch in the backs of the knees. And also by just pulling the toes back towards you, you feel a lovely stretch along the inside of the thighs. So this is in itself, this is a lovely stretch for inner thighs. So we're going to sit here now. So you can be like this, you can be narrower like this, or you can go a lot wider, depending on how flexible you are. But make sure that you have the toes pointing up towards the ceiling. So the toes are pulled back. You're not allowing them to flop forwards. So not leaning back either, trying to stay up nice and straight, and just relaxing in this position for a moment. Closing the eyes, closing the mouth. Breathing into the lower belly, breathing out, feeling the belly shrink. So in this position, staying nice and tall by tucking the chin back towards the throat, and imagine that you're being pulled up by a string from the ceiling or the sky, feeling lovely elongation in the back of the neck. So combining this position, the physical position, with the breath, smooth, soft, and silent. Bringing a smile to the corners of your mouth. And just feeling into the breathing. And now opening your eyes. And again, just giving yourself a little rest. So for this to come out of this, what's a good idea is just to pull or gently grab the inside and behind your knee, inside of your leg, grab behind your knee and pull the leg up with the hand. So you're not using or straining anything in the leg or the thigh area. The same on this side to come out, and then just walking the feet back together and maybe just shaking out the legs a little. So again, we're not doing anything for really long periods of time, especially if this is something that you're not used to. So you can build up the duration of this stretch, of this practice, as you go through, as you get more kind of used to it. So you wouldn't be sitting here for half an hour the very first time you do it, because when you come out of it, you'd be really stiff. Okay, so going back into this position again. Okay. So again, pulling the feet back, the toes back towards you, and the knees are straight, sitting up tall. So now we're going to combine the mind and the breath with this posture. Closing the eyes. Breathing in and out of the lower belly, in and out through the nose. The hands are resting just on the thighs, just above the knees. Elbows are close to the sides of the body, nice and relaxed. The heads of the arm bones very gently pulled back. So you feel a little kind of V shape in between the shoulder blades and the back of the body. That ensures that you're sitting up nice and tall. Now bring your mind to the groin area, to the inner thighs. In your mind's eye, see this area, feel where the stretch is, and each time you exhale, tell yourself to relax and expand that whole area in all directions. So up, down, forwards, backwards, out to both sides. So see that area getting bigger. And as that happens, what over a period of time can happen is that the blood vessels and the channels of qi or energy flow will dilate and get wider, become more open and free flowing. And that helps to ease any tension and make this stretch a little bit more effortless for you. Now, if you're sitting in this position and you feel nothing, what you might want to do is very gently, still keeping the back straight, is hinge forward from the hips and just place the hands, fingertips on the floor. So keeping the toes pulled back towards you, looking straight ahead, keeping the chin tucked in towards the throat, so there's still that lovely length in the back of the neck. And very gently, you may want to open your eyes for this so you can see me, just walking forwards with the hands. Not too far, definitely no rounding in the back. That might just be enough to create a little bit more of a stretch, but no competition with yourself, no overdoing it. You just want to feel enough of a stretch so that then you can work with your mind and your breath from a Qigong point of view. So this is not a competition to see who can get closest to the floor with their chest. It is just enough for you to feel the stretch so that when you bring your mind to the area, it's very easy to identify that place because you're feeling a stretch there. You definitely don't have to put yourself under any strain, and be very careful with this. You don't want to pull your groin area. That's absolutely not the aim of this. So maybe closing the eyes again, breathing in and out of the belly. Now, often when people come forward like this, they let the chin come up, and then that creates a crick in the back of your neck. So you want to keep the chin tucked back towards the throat, keep that lovely elongation in the back of the neck. And in your mind's eye, identify where you're feeling the stretch down the insides of the legs. And with each exhalation, relax and expand that area in all directions, releasing a little more each time. Smiling to remove and release any tension in the face. And then if you are in this position where you're slightly forward, to come out of this, gently open your eyes and then just walk your hands back. So you're pushing your upper body back to fully upright. And then again, to come out of this position, just hooking around the inside of the back of the knee with one hand and pulling the leg in, and the same on the other side. And then maybe leaning back, supporting your body with your hands, and then just shaking the legs out, maybe side to side, going forwards, giving them a little shake, whatever is comfortable for you, just to ease out what's going on there. And then coming back to your sitting position. So that stretch is called a seated adductor stretch. Your adductors are the muscles on the insides of the thighs here. And so that will help to release any physical tension, any emotions that might be stored up in the hip and the groin area, if you do that in a Qigong way. So combining that stretch or that pose with the breath and the mind. So those three elements, movement, breath, and mind, are the ones that make up Qigong practice. So I hope you found those two stretches helpful today. They're, as I said, they're not Qigong stretches. They're actually, the first one for sure is a yoga pose. So yoga practitioners amongst you, you'll be very familiar with that. But hopefully that gave you a little bit more insight into stretching, because you can apply that principle of Qigong, of breath and mind, along with whatever the movement or the stretch is, in order to get a little bit more out of it in terms of relaxation, expansion, free flow through the area. So as always, if you have any questions on what we've done today, then please email me. My email is janice@spacetorelax.com. We also only have 2 more classes left before Christmas. So if you have the opportunity and you would like to say thank you by donating, we give half of the proceeds to the intensive care staff in my local hospital. The other half go towards the upkeep of this website. But these classes are free and there is no obligation to donate whatsoever. You're all very, very welcome. So please share with your friends and your family. Also, if you have any questions and you'd like to join our Facebook group, the group is Space to Relax Free Qigong Group, and you'll find that on Facebook. So just click the button to join and I'll admit you to the group. I hope you enjoyed the class today, and I'll see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this Qigong lesson, then there are 4 things you can do right now. The first thing is to head over to my website, which is spacetorelax.com, and there you'll see that you can join up for a free 3-part video series. The second thing you can do is click the link next to this video to sign up for the live Qigong classes, as I teach these once a week. The third thing you can do is go over to Facebook if you're on Facebook and look for Space to Relax Free Qigong Group. That's my free group where you can post any questions, and please do join the group. And the fourth thing is, if you're watching this video on YouTube, then please hit the red subscribe button so that you don't miss any future videos from me. I really hope you enjoyed this lesson and look forward to seeing you in the next video.